Behind Japan's towering skyscrapers and cutting-edge technology, a silent tragedy is unfolding. Millions of young people are gradually isolating themselves from society, locking themselves away within cold, lonely walls. More than 1 million young people in Japan are in this situation. They live completely isolated, cut off from the outside world. They are hikikomori, lost souls without jobs, without friends, and without family. What pushed a leading developed nation in Asia into such circumstances? And is there any way to bring that lost generation back into the light? Viewed from the outside, Japan appears as an admirable country with outstanding achievements in many aspects. This is a land of modern technology, where advanced robots are born to serve human life. The crime rate is virtually zero, making this country one of the safest places in the world. A distinctive culture blending tradition and modernity with refined harmony, from ancient, serene temples to bustling streets aglow with neon lights. Japan has the third largest economy in the world and is home to many globally renowned corporations such as Toyota, Sony, and Intero. People enjoy long lifespans thanks to modern healthcare systems and clean, healthy living environments. If only these factors are considered, Japan can be regarded as an ideal model that many other countries aspire to emulate. But, behind that glamorous facade, lies a harsh truth, a dark side that not everyone can comprehend. In Japan, millions of people are left behind, unable to integrate into society or find their place in an extremely harsh system. They are people who face setbacks in their careers, lack stable jobs, cannot start families, and are unable to afford a normal life like others. Many of them, even though they have reached middle age, still have to depend on their parents for survival, while others end up in loneliness, almost completely isolated from the outside world. They are called the lost generation because of the losses they have endured, a generation that cannot find its future, forever trapped in the vicious cycle of poverty, loneliness, and oblivion. They are not a tiny minority but in fact make up 15% of Japan's population, equivalent to millions of people trapped with no way out. Their existence is not just their own tragedy, it also reveals a deeper crisis, the gradual decline of Japan. This country once had a period of brilliant development, but now it is facing a serious social issue that threatens not only the economy but also the nation's long-term future. The Japanese economic miracle. In the 1980s, Japan was once considered the next economic superpower, capable of replacing the United States and dominating the global economy, much like how China is viewed today. As overconfidence has sparked genuine concern in the US, as newspapers like movies like Die Hard **, Rising Sun **, and Bloodsucker all depict Japanese corporations dominating America and the global stage. Japanese economic miracle. This economy primarily operates through close coordination between Japan's major corporations and the government. These massive conglomerates are called keiretsu, which are essentially alliances among Japan's leading companies where businesses hold mutual shares in one another. And although they previously operated independently, they have now come together to collaborate and support one another. The largest corporations also receive unfair preferential treatment from the government through massive loans allocated by the Bank of Japan, the state-owned central bank. This means these alliances gain access to vast financial resources to expand aggressively into foreign markets, while the Japanese government restricts foreign businesses from entering the domestic market. Though not a fair or healthy system, it proved effective. The Japanese stock market grew by leaps and bounds, while Japanese products dominated the international market. The people of Japan understand that if they work hard and earn a university degree, they can secure stable jobs at major corporations, ensuring a lifetime of income. Japan seemed to be endlessly progressing, everything was running smoothly until one day, it all came to an end. By 1991, Japan had experienced 30 years of uninterrupted strong economic growth and risen to become the world's second largest economy, trailing only the United States. As the economy grows, real estate prices and the stock values of companies listed on the securities market also rise. But by the late 1980s, this growth momentum had spiraled out of control, turning into an investment frenzy, also known as a financial bubble. Everyone thought the economy would keep booming indefinitely, assets would keep rising endlessly, and the bigger the investment, the greater the profits. S purpose or the borrower. But then one day, the bubble burst. In 1990, the stock market plummeted by 43%, dragging down real estate prices with it. The collapse of the financial bubble reduced the spending power of the Japanese people, and few were willing to invest in domestic companies anymore. This marked the end of the previous economic boom. Moreover, after the economic bubble burst, the underlying instabilities in Japan's economic system became increasingly apparent over the years. Corruption has been found to be widespread across both Japan's business sector and government, ranging from insider trading and stock market manipulation to fraud and bribery. Moreover, easy access to bank loans has spawned a slew of shell companies, businesses that should have gone bankrupt long ago but continue to survive thanks to cheap state-funded credit. Sick patient. Although this is a severe economic downturn, it is not an uncommon occurrence, as the economies of many countries often go through such ups and downs. It's different in Japan. The economic recession not only impacted the economy but also left severe consequences on an entire generation, with repercussions that millions of Japanese people could never fully recover from. Why is this happening? A lost generation as the economy crumbles, and with it, opportunities vanish. To understand why this generation is left behind, one must analyze Japan's hiring culture and unique work styles, possessing uniquely distinctive features that set it apart from any other country in the world. Business careers in Japan often begin with susoku kasudo activities. Here are the 2 English translation options as requested. Most companies, especially large corporations within the Karefsu system, only hire newly graduated students. They typically conduct recruitment just once a year, but on a very large scale. Fresh graduates will have to go through a rigorous recruitment process, which includes multiple rounds of group interviews, attending seminars, and competing with thousands of other candidates in identical black and white suits. Susinko yo, Sanika Suka. These methods were once the prevailing standard in the 1990s and remain widely used in Japan today. They provide stability but also make the labor market extremely harsh. Rehired by a company, you find a job right after graduation, The issue is that when the economic bubble bursts and the recession ends, the old job hunting formula no longer works. During periods of strong economic growth, securing a position at a major corporation is not overly difficult. But after 1990, most companies stopped hiring for an entire decade, refusing to take on new graduates in order to retain their long-term employees due to the impact of the economic crisis. It wasn't until the new century that recruitment efforts were restored, but by then, finding a stable job had become extremely difficult. For those who graduated in the 1990s, it was already too late. They were no longer considered fresh graduates, so companies prioritized hiring newly graduated students instead. Those people, just one mistimed move, lost their chance and fell through the cracks of the system. An entire generation, millions of people, has been abandoned, trapped in lives of precarious, part-time jobs and meager wages. This period is called the employment freeze, and those who graduated during that time are considered the lost generation. Hopeless. This prolonged period of decline has turned into decades of loss. A future shrouded in haze, with lingering repercussions from a lost generation. Certainly, the story of the lost generation is filled with tragedy, but its impact does not end with those who belong to that era. In reality, their tragic fate has been and continues to inflict severe consequences on Japanese society, casting the country's future into profound darkness. Millions of people aged 30 to 40 are currently outside the labor market, without stable jobs, unable to support their families, and forced to rely on their parents. These individuals have never had the financial stability to build an independent life, nor have they ever had access to truly quality job opportunities. Nearly 17 million people, equivalent to 15% of the population, currently belong to the never-married generation. This is the age group that plays a pivotal role in the economy of every country. These are people in their 30s to 40s, the stage when they typically spend the most on their families, buying homes, purchasing cars, and taking out bank loans. They are the driving force that keeps the economy running. Yet in Japan today, this group has nearly vanished, and the economy is just one of many challenges the country is facing. In reality, Japan is facing a far more serious issue, an alarmingly aging population. Japan has the highest proportion of elderly people in the world, accounting for nearly 30% of its population, while also experiencing the fastest population aging rate of any country. One of the reasons is that the previous generation didn't have enough children. By 2050, the ratio of elderly people to the working age population will reach 1 to 1.3, meaning the number of people aged 65 and over will be nearly equal to those aged 15 to 64. In any country, the elderly depend on tax revenues from the workforce to sustain their livelihoods. However, in Japan, this situation is about to reach an unsustainable level. Moreover, the disaffected generation is causing another increasingly serious social issue, namely the Hikikomori phenomenon. These are Japanese men who choose to live in seclusion, completely cut off from society and without any interaction with others. They often rely entirely on their parents for financial support. The first Hikikomori were the product of a lost generation. Men currently in their 30s and 40s who fail to meet Japanese societal expectations, such as having a stable job, advancing in their careers, getting married, and fulfilling their responsibilities toward their families. They decided to let go completely, rather than keep struggling any longer. This phenomenon is gradually spreading and affecting even the younger generations. Although these people have the opportunity to enter the labor market, they feel overwhelmed by the pressure and intense competition. Currently, Japan has nearly 1 million men living as hikikomori, and this number continues to rise, with many other young people at risk of joining this group. This social phenomenon has become a serious issue, profoundly affecting all of Japanese society. The Japanese government is deeply aware of the serious consequences that the lost generation and the rising phenomenon of hikikomori are causing for the country's society and economy. They announced plans to help this generation rise up and reintegrate into the community. However, so far these efforts have not yielded the desired results. The issue lies in the fact that Japan's economy has yet to fully recover, while its work culture remains overly rigid. Not only that, but workers also had to work long hours and adhere to an extremely rigid hierarchy. Many companies still adhere to the lifetime employment model, conducting recruitment only once a year and promoting exclusively from within. Those who fail to pass the company's recruitment round or are eliminated right from the first attempt have almost no chance for a second opportunity. As a result, millions of people are trapped in a vicious cycle with no way out. And this number continues to rise as more and more young people cannot find opportunities in an overly rigid system. Finally, they had no choice but to give up.